What is going on, everybody? I am your host, Juju, and this is Court Talk So Walk. First and foremost, I do want to give a big apology to each and every one of you guys. Last week, I know I was supposed to release an episode, and there was a huge, major technical difficulty with the track. And as of right now, it just seems like it's that particular episode will have to be done from scratch. So I'm definitely sad about that, but there's always room for more, definitely improvement for myself and just being aware of other things. So I do apologize to you guys because I really was excited about last week's episode. So I do apologize once again. Okay. I hope each and every one of you are doing good. I hope your week is going good so far. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. This past Sunday, I ended up going to the Golden State game at Madison Square Garden. And of course, it was a beautiful time, a beautiful experience. This is my second time going to Madison Square Garden. Absolutely love everything. Like from the moment I stepped off the train, like literally, I was just excited. The adrenaline, being the oddball out always because I'm going for another state instead of my own. Everybody always asks me, "How are you from New York?" And you're going for another team. I have nothing. I just want to make it clear. I have nothing against the New York Knicks. I just personally love the Golden State Warriors. I love Steve Kerr. I honestly love Steph Curry. Honestly love Draymond Green. And even though Klay Thompson is not a part of our team anymore, I still love him along with everybody else that's currently on the team right now. I'm going to always back my team. But yeah, so that experience was good. We did lose by a couple of points or whatever. But I will sit there and say, in defense of my team, they definitely had a good hold on the Knicks on Sunday. So it definitely was exciting to see my team keep up, put that pressure on the court. I just love that about them. The turnover at the end could have really saved us and won that game. But I'm just going to suck it up and move along. That's just what I'm going to do. Anyways, today's episode is something that is a little tricky, something that we trick ourselves with. And I feel like people, along with myself, we tell like little lies, and it's not like your typical like bad lie. It's a well intentional like self deception that many of us fall into, but we rarely admit. So just think about it. Like, can you tell me why that is? Because to me, it seems like as human beings, we will pick self deception over reality sometimes because we're afraid of our true existence. Okay. And I'm just going to let that sit in with you guys. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about self deception versus reality. And I think that's something tough because everybody loves to be comfortable. They're comfortable with lies because sometimes lies gives us the imagination of daily living. We know it's not true, but we can imagine it in our daily lives. And that's just my point of it. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get into this, all right? So let me give it to y'all like this. For example, right? Have you or anybody that you know have they ever said, I deserve this? And sometimes just follow me. Sometimes we justify bad behavior with a sense of entitlement, which often leads to further self-destruction. Okay? Let me say that again so y'all can understand me. People will say they deserve something to justify bad behavior with the sense of entitlement, which often leads to further self destruction. Okay, so let me dive in a little deeper, okay? To go more in depth, right? A sense of entitlement is a belief that one is, how can I say, inherently deserving of privileges, respect, or preferred treatment, okay? Without like earning it or being considerate of others. Okay. So eventually, when this belief is deeply ingrained, it leads individuals to justify behaviors that are objectively harmful, disrespectful, unfair. Okay. And in a sense, like when you think about it, right? When you think about it, people automatically think that they deserve a certain treatment because of who they think they are, not realizing that just because you're in this bracket or in this place or however you want to put it, does not mean you don't, does not give you the right not to work for something. You get what I'm saying? That's why people say respect is earned because it doesn't matter who you are. It's sad that we're in a time where people don't look at it. When I say look at it, because they can look at something a certain way and just do whatever the fuck they want to do. So that's one. Two, people have to understand respect is earned and not given. You can't just be out here disrespecting people and then think that in return, people are still going to respect you. It doesn't work that way. You don't deserve respect because you're not out here giving it, nor are you aware, nor do you don't care if you come across a certain way to people. And I feel like that type of behavior is toxic, it's scary, and very much dangerous. Almost like a person who is like a narcissist. They just kind of like support their own fucking behavior at the end of the day. Whatever makes them, even though they're wrong, they could have 1,000 people tell them that they're wrong. But because they don't want to feel that way, they're going to find any reason to make them feel like what they do, how they act, is justifiable. And that right there is, that becomes a dangerous game when you are an adult and you allow yourself to always like make comfort with bad behavior. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, people who justify cheating. We all know cheating is bad. Regardless, if somebody hurts you, whatever the case, doesn't mean you have to cheat on them. And I'm just saying this on the real. Have I ever cheated? Yes, I have. Do I feel like I should have cheated? No. Because at the end of the day, like just because you feel this way doesn't like who are you? People think they're bigger than the program. You doing something or to justify what you did is not, you could have a point, but for all of that, whatever the case is, what are you trying to get out of it? For all that, just go walk away. Go be by yourself. You get what I'm saying? Just because people do things or say things does not mean, okay, in return, I'm going to do this. That's not what this is. Let me put it to you like this. People who justify cheating behaviors. They cheated because they were alone, they're lonely, even though they're in a relationship. So I decided to, I'm entitled to do this because I'm not receiving this. The hell you are. Because who the fuck you think you are? People be thinking they bigger than the motherfucking program. Okay. Entitlement is a serious issue. It's very dangerous. Yes, you can be confident in yourself, but people feel they're entitled to a lot of shit, which is bonkers to me sometimes because motherfuckers really don't even be putting the effort in, but then they want. That's another thing. People want, but they don't even put the effort. But then they feel entitled to shit that they ain't even manifesting or even trying to fucking create. But who am I? Okay, who the fuck am I? But anyways, moving along. So let's just sit there and say, like, a better example is this. Imagine, like, just say you live where you at right now, or you live in wherever you just want to live. Okay, beautiful home, your beautiful apartment, whatever. Keep in mind, this is your space. Your space. That's your house, your apartment, your condo, your mansion. This is your shit. You feel me? But just say you have next door neighbors. Next door neighbors. They may not live in your building or whatever, but they down a block or they real little couple inches next door to you, whatever. A little razzle dazzle, right? You like to bump your music every fucking day. 5 a.m. Loud as a motherfucker. House is thumping. You feel me? You end up being confronted by the building manager or just say the landlord or just say the neighbor about the music being too loud. And they ask you basically, could you adjust your music because the music is high and just have like, just be considerate and aware of the time that you're playing the music and be considerate that people might be sleeping or maybe some people might be coming in from work, people getting up to go to work. Who knows, right? And here you come sitting there saying, well, I pay rent here. That sounds like a lot of y'all anyway, to be honest. I pay rent here. I should be able to enjoy myself in my own way. Now, look at this. As an individual, you feel that your financial contribution and other justifications grants you the right to disregard your community rules and the comfort of your neighbors. So basically, you equalize paying rent to your own enjoyment above all. This type of like entitlement makes yourself bigger than others, which should not be the case. Like, I get it, but people fail to realize that they are not being considerate, that they are bigger than other people. And that's one thing I don't like. I feel like each and every one of us, we're all equals. We are all equals at the end of the day. Nobody is bigger than no one. Once you have realized that, okay, when you can have a little bit of consideration for some people, you start to realize that, you know what, you'll see it kind of like reciprocate back to you because this is something that you've probably earned or you've something that you've, put in the effort in at the end of the day. Okay. One thing I'm going to say is the biggest lie that we tell ourselves is they don't understand me. And I feel like majority of us say this shit. And like when I say us, I mean us. We say this shit because people like yourself and I say this in times to avoid introspection and avoid growth. Let's talk about it, okay? Y'all following me? All right. Let's be honest. A good percentage of people are not introspective. In other words, reflective, okay? Think about it. How often do you examine your own thoughts and feelings? How many of us understand that self-reflection can help, okay? Can help our mental and emotional state, which can lead to an increase in self awareness and personal growth. So, if we decide to shield ourselves from uncomfortable truths, accountability, or the complexities of genuine connection, will become egotistic, all right, towards criticism and rejection. Okay. Communication will eventually become a barrier because to be understood, you need to articulate thoroughly. And lastly, we have the fear of so if you don't allow yourself to feel, express your genuine emotions, you're basically lining yourself up for dismissal, judgment and validation and rejection. I feel like people don't like when people point things out about themselves. And that goes for myself. When people point certain things about you, we quick to go, they don't understand what I'm saying. They don't understand what I'm saying. Yo, you don't understand where I'm coming from. And sometimes you have to understand that, you know what, a different POV of something. It's not that a person may not understand you, but it's also to basically have you open up your eyes to show, like, for you to realize, like, okay, cool. You can feel how you feel, but sometimes it's true that sometimes our feelings, our emotions become bigger than us, where we make emotional decisions. Like, we make those type of decisions because we're emotional. If we had a clear head, we probably wouldn't make like, rash decisions. But in moments where, you feel like people don't understand you, it's not because they don't understand you. It's because they're really trying to help you realize, like, it's more than one way to skin a cat. And when people stop at that, they stop their brain from processing I guess I would say other realities, other outcomes for what could be for them per se. And because it just cuts off, like, when what I just said that a couple of seconds ago, communication will become a barrier. It cuts off communication for you to even communicate how you feel to one person and how basically they can communicate back to you about how they can understand and what you can do to grow from that or to see it from a different perspective. And I feel like that's one thing that I feel like for me personally, I've always, for a very long time, have been the type of person to sit there and say in a lot of different situations that people don't understand me. And I could really feel like they don't understand me. But when I kind of calm down and I'm in my bubble by myself and I'm replaying the words in the scenario back in my head, I'm like, well, damn, so maybe I could have listened to them. Because sometimes, getting like, clarification or understanding from one person can help you grow as an individual. And I hope that everybody who listens to me or to anybody, that their goal in life is to grow. Growth doesn't always come with you being successful like in every given thing. Growth comes from making mistakes, being criticized, like constructive criticism, not just criticized to like make fun of you, but to constructively criticize somebody. That only helps a person grow. And I feel like people are against being, criticized constructively because they don't want to hear what motherfuckers have to say. They swear up and down that they don't know no better, they don't know anything, or so forth and so on. And I just feel like that right there is childish because at some point in time, you have to grow the fuck up. Okay, you have to grow the fuck up and allow people to talk to you like you talking to them and express that on a mature manner. Okay. So, like I said, I would say they don't understand me for a very long time. I realized at some point in time, I had to be able to articulate properly, early. I had some I'm not perfect. You get what I'm saying? As you can hear me say, I'm not perfect. I figured things out, you know, by making mistakes, by having downfalls, by having my ups, my downs, whatever, my sideways, left and right, grow as an individual. So I realized that I needed to be better at also hearing what other people had to say in addition to me coming across and saying what I had to sit there and say. But I've also come a long way with just communication in general because I'm the type of person who gets I shut down very quickly when it comes to like communication. Which I had definitely improved on because when I want to express myself, I can express myself, but then I'm very like I'm shorthanded. It's like, one, two, three. So there's not much clarification in what I said because I'm assuming that the person who's standing or I'm talking to, they would understand what I'm saying. And some people I have to be like everybody's not like that. So it was a lot of things that I had to learn about myself because I kept telling myself like, listen, like this is what it is, and it's not. My feelings. That's the thing. Everybody has feelings, but a lot of people put their feelings above everybody else. And I'm not saying that's not, because you're your own person, you're gonna put you before a lot of people, which is fine. Do you, sweetheart. But at the end of the day, please keep in mind that there's other humans out there that, are looking at it from a different point of view. You know what I mean? Be considerate. Be that person. Stop being the person that's like, okay, well, if they don't give this to me, then I'm not giving it to them. Because who the fuck are you? Like, you should just want to fucking be nice. Y'all motherfuckers is walking around with a hunch on your shoulder. Like, I'm confused. Like, let's get it together. I'm just saying though, like, I'm just saying. Uh all in all, I just want y'all to understand that, like, we cannot be gone the rest of 2026 after going through all these years, telling ourselves these not say miniature because some be like some size bad lies that people really like go on their daily life with every single day. And some of them are many like little miniature, minute lies, where it's like, okay, this can be fixed if I really just like, work on this one, two, three. So I just want you to understand, like, listen, we're all human. Nobody's perfect. Okay. But we do have to be better. Like, shoot, we need to be taking accountability. We need to be accepting constructive criticism. We need to be okay with growth. We need to be not okay with being comfortable in scenario situations of us telling ourselves like, okay, yes, this is what we deserve. Entitlement. Like we need to get like you can be entitled to certain things. You bought something that's yours. You entitled to that. That's your shit. But when it comes to the mental shit of telling yourself that you deserve this type of treatment because, oh, you just that nigga, or you just that bitch, or you just that girl, or you just that guy. Slow your roll. Because before you think you are entitled or you should expect something from somebody or anything, you need to look in the mirror first. Because if you can't take accountability or if you can't have a conversation or you can't communicate or this or that, then you shouldn't really be feeling entitled. You catch my drift? Like, for real. This year is going to be like, for the rest of this year, matter of fact, is going to be about the reality, not self-deception. We wanna get past self-deception. We wanna stop telling ourselves what we think or not what we think, what we should do because it feels good. We need to be stepping into the element of why we need to do it because how effective it's going to be, for your future's sake. So I just hope what I said can resonate with you guys because I really want all of us to win. The way this world is set up now, we don't need anybody to like basically infiltrate our mind even more to thinking we deserve certain things. We need to be stepping in the era of accountability, being able to being okay with growth, understanding that listen, there's gonna be ups and downs, but to be in a better mental space, to create a better mental space for ourselves, that even though if we know that this might make us feel good, we will still hold ourselves accountable and put in the effort to be better. Okay? All right. So this right here was something good to talk about, something positive, encouraging to talk with you guys, to sit down and be able to talk with you guys about this. So I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. This is always an amazing experience, therapeutic as well. I just hope you guys are walking away with a renewed sense of awareness. The key takeaway here isn't about like self judgment. Instead, it's about cultivating a raw curiosity towards our inner narratives, by shining a light on the hidden assumptions, the fears disguised as facts and comforting illusions. I feel like we need to gain the power to choose different stories that are more aligned with our authentic selves and our deepest desires. So, once again, I love you guys. I am your host, Juju, and this is Court Talk Soul.